What's up, guys? It's me, Alan, and I am back for another video today. And for this review, this is the 5th of 5 diecasts I picked up from Circle B Diecast with the Black Friday sales they had recently. Yeah, so again, if you hear anything in the background, I mentioned this in the other videos, but that's just, parents and my younger sister out there. But anyway, after this video, I gotta go out to dinner, so I'm gonna go do that. But I'm gonna get this review out of the way first. So this is gonna be on Elliott Sadler's 2018 One Main Financial Chevy for JR Motorsports. And I gotta say, when it comes, there are several drivers that have ran the Cup Series for a certain amount of time. Then they end up going back down to the Xfinity or Truck Series and basically do better. And there's a lot to say about that, and I'll get into that a little bit. Sadler is one of these guys. So let's go ahead and just get the diecast out of its box, get on the review, and sort of get on with that discussion. But yeah, there's Sadler, there's Michael Annett, Justin Allgaier, most recently, John Hunter Nemechek, although, he's still a young dude. He's decided to go back down to Truck Series with, I believe, Kyle Busch Motorsports. That was recently announced, which props to him, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. But anyway, there's the diecast out of its box. And this is a car that I've actually been looking at wanting to get for a while. This is pretty funny, though. You've got, the Xfinity name banner on the front with Sadler on there. And then you got his name on the back with a paint chip in the middle in the L. Like, okay, I know. Take an L, literally. Haha. Very funny, I know. But, yeah. So, let me go ahead and take a look at this diecast. In terms of guys like Elliott Sadler and whatnot, that they run for, they end up in the Cup Series for a while, and Sadler, he had some pretty good, years, or some pretty solid years. Obviously, he had two of the most well-known, wrecks in Talladega history. Both of them were flips. With some pretty, funny stories to go with them. I think it was after the second one, I believe the story goes that his, one of his crew guys put a bumper sticker, or something like that on the dash of his car. It said, keep all four wheels on the ground, because after the second time he flipped at Talladega. But, just trying to make some humor out of it. But, in terms of, a driver like Sadler's, we have a loose windshield, of course, and loose rear window, of course. But in terms of guys like Sadler and whatnot, obviously Justin Allgaier is another one. Michael Annett, who they run in the Cup Series for a while. They run in mid-pack, cars. They don't really move up, but they do enough to not warrant getting knocked to a lesser ride in that series. It's like you get to a point where, how much is it worth to run mid-pack in the Cup Series instead of, we got a paint chip there, or choose to go down to the Xfinity or Truck Series and race down there and, compete for wins and championships. And so, guys, again, like Annett, Sadler, and Allgaier, they made that choice to go back down. And, look at Allgaier, he gets a few wins a year. He's usually a contending favorite for the championship year in and year out. Annett, his wins have come few and far between, but he has a lot of consistency. Yeah, you can win a lot of races, but you also have to be consistent. And when it comes to a guy like Michael Annett, he's pretty consistent, and he's also a quiet guy. Like, you could look at the final standings of a race and be like, oh, Annett finished top 10. Why didn't I know that? Because, you just don't hear about him a lot in that regard. But, he gets the job done. He stays consistent. He tries his best to stay out of, wrecks and stuff and try not to cause them himself. And that's just what he does. And then a guy like Sadler, again, same as Annett. Well, Sadler was, as you can see in the one car, before Annett. But Sadler, same thing. You know, goes back down to the Xfinity Series, runs really well. You know, gets some wins here and there. You know, looks like a contender for the championship. You know, the discussion there though with guys like that is, you know, especially with, I think, with guys like Sadler and Annett, because Allgaier has shown, you know, that, you know, he can, you know, take his ride in the 7 car and put it up there, up front and whatnot. But for a guy like a Sadler or Annett, you know, I've seen discussion with other fans, you know, in social media that, you know, at some point you got to think, how much longer do they have in that ride before the team's like, okay, you know, we want to go a different direction and put somebody younger in there. And you got to think with Junior Motorsports and currently with Annett, and I'm not saying anything, you know, definite. I'm not saying anything again, you know, to say it against Annett. I think he's a solid driver. Again, a lot of consistency. But you got to think, you know, you got Noah Gragson over there right now. You know, you've got some other, you know, guys. You've got drivers like Sam Mayer coming up through the ranks. I know I'm forgetting names. I apologize, but, you know, it's been a long day. I was at work earlier, but either way, you know, you got to think with some of these younger guns and whatnot coming up through, how much longer does Annett have in the 1 car before Junior Motorsports says, you know, we thank you for all the driving you've done for us, but we want to go a different direction. You know, that's up to them to decide, and who knows what will happen. I think Annett, again, has had a solid career, you know, in the Xfinity Series. Less than stellar Cup career, but, you know, that's just how it is sometimes. Some drivers, they come up and they reach the highest of highs. Some guys are hyped all to hell and just bottom out. But then you got the guys like, again, Michael Annett, who they come up through, they get up to the Cup Series, they don't get a top tier ride, but, you know, they also don't get a crap ride like, you know, Brickware. They end up in somewhere, you know, mid pack. You know, they don't do a ton, but they do just enough, and then they decide, you know, all right, I think, you know, it's time to move back down to one of the lower series and, you know, and race down there and compete and just have a quiet career. And that's exactly what Annett's had. I mean, the last time he won was, I believe, 2018 in the Daytona Xfinity Series opener. You know, and that's fine. It is what it is, you know. You know, Allgaier has shown what he can do in Xfinity equipment. You know, also with Junior Motorsports. Annett, say what you will, I think he provides consistency. He provides veteran presence, and that is something that you look for in a guy, in my opinion. You know, Annett isn't a flashy guy. Sadler wasn't all that much of a flashy guy either. It just is what it is. And now you know, look now at a guy like AJ Allmendinger, who, you know, he makes the 1 playoff appearance in the Cup Series after getting that Watkins Glen win, and then, you know, and then things don't work out for him, and then he comes down to Xfinity. Well, he basically stops, you know, being, you know, with a full-time, you know, ride gig, and he comes down to Xfinity, and, you know, he runs some races for Colleague Racing, and now he's going to race full-time for Colleague next season, which I think is really cool. So sometimes things just fall your way, and that's just how it works. But anyway, back to the diecast. Not really any issues. Gotta say, I do like the paint scheme. And that's really all I have to say about it. So thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.